All right, welcome back to the Dented Puck. My name's Drew. As always, I'm joined by the boys, Josh, Dirk, and Corey. How's it going?
Pretty good. The weather kind of looks like it did on Sunday and Monday in Minnesota, and the same temperature as opposed to Saturday, which was really nice. How's it going down there in DC, Dirk?
It is beautiful down here. It started off like in the low 40s, and now it's like almost 80. So
Really?
it is. It is. Yeah, it's like in the high 70s. I'm in the shade, and it's in the 70s. So I can only imagine what it's like in the sun on the other side.
And Corey, how you doing in Colorado?
But really quickly, I like how every time we start out, we all have to like give a weather report on what's going on wherever we are.
Yeah, we do. We're old men, you know what I mean? We like the weather.
I mean, we literally are in. Well, I mean, Dirk and I are like in relatively close area, but we're in like 4 different parts of the U.S.
In my defense, I don't give a weather report. I just tell people who you are.
Yeah, this is true.
No, I'm pretty good. I have yet to unpack anything from this past weekend.
It was a good time, though. We'll definitely get into that in our little recap episode coming up. But let's talk about hockey, man. There's been some crazy trades going on. Ryan O'Reilly is a Leaf. Thank God, we might actually have a chance now.
And he had a hat trick.
O'Reilly, where was he?
St. Louis. Who else? And from St. Louis as well. Tarasenko's a Ranger.
Well,
Have there been any other big trades that I'm forgetting?
Horvat.
Oh yeah, Horvat. Horvat's on the Islanders.
And everybody's waiting for the Devils. Well, supposedly, Mike Greer wants Mercer, and the Devils aren't going to give up. Or the Devils shouldn't give up Mercer. I mean, he's a second-year player who's probably going to score 40 points this year, and he's a two-way. He's a when it all comes down to it, and they fill the lineups in, he's going to be the third-line center. It's going to be Hughes, Nico, and him for a long time. And he's a third-line center that can play both ways, play the kill, and put up 40 points, too. He's going to be dangerous.
How long is Nico on contract for?
I'm sorry?
How long is Nico on contract for?
I think he signed an extension already. I don't know how long it is.
Okay.
Like, I think he signed it. Well, both him and Jack signed their extensions. I think so. That was the big one, is getting Jack under contract.
I guess my question is, with the way that Hughes is starting to develop, is he sure going to be a trade piece at some point?
No, I think that's the way you core it. I think you go strong down the middle. You have it. They played PP1 to PP. Nice. They played Power Play 1 together. But I think that's your core. I think you kind of let you keep Dougie and you kind of let Dougie's there for 7 years. He's there for 5 more years after this. I think your core is those two, the 2 defensemen coming up, Mercer, and if you could and that the question is, and it's Timo Meyer. To me, it's Timo Meyer or Brett. Like the guys on Facebook say they have numbers where they could sign both. Yeah, you sign both, and then you have so much money in your top 6, you have nothing in their bottom 6, like what happens in Edmonton, right? Their money's so much in the top line. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Actually, that I got told off by a guy who thinks we should trade for Patrick Kane. And I was like, well, what good is trading for Patty Kane? He's like, there is no future. And I'm like, what are you talking about? But he's going to go somewhere. Where should he end up, Drew?
So I just saw one that I actually think would be a great pick, Dallas. Patty Kane on the second line, because that first line's Robo, Hintz, and Pavelski.
That's not changing.
The second line is Ben, Kane.
Now,
Gurianov is the guy that the Hawks are trying to get for Patrick Kane, is Dennis Gurianov. And I don't think the Stars want to let him go.
And that's kind of where everybody. Well, that's where we're at this point. We got what, a week to go? Right?
Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
I mean, this is kind of the point that it's coming out exactly what teams want. And if they need them, and I think the Stars are in the same spot as the Devils, but the Stars do have a couple guys that are on their way out, like Pavelski and Ben, that would give a reason to get Patty Kane to take a shot. Where the Devils have absolutely that this team is here for years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could see that. And that's why everybody's like, because Patty Kane would work great. Like we've seen the next coming of Patty Kane and Jack Hughes. Like it's the next kind of like revelation of that player, and everyone in the Devils wants him. And
I've also seen them linking him to Boston.
I see that too. He's got. Do they have them? Can they afford it?
I don't know, but I mean, it's like as awesome as Boston has been playing. I think we can all agree that this is like the last go round, the last hurrah for that.
Oh,
for Boston for a hot minute.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm fully aware. Oh yeah, no, I'm ready for my team to suck. I mean, it was like when I was a kid, so it'd be just like when I was 10.
And honestly, I think this is one of the only years that I'm like, okay, do I really want the Leafs to win the cup? Yes, but would it be awesome to see Boston getting the band?
I'd like to see Bergeron. Yeah.
Yeah, Bergie getting one more would make it all worth it for me, because that guy is class A all the way.
Yeah, and he's definitely up there in the top tier of defensemen of all time. I don't know what number you want to put next to it, but I'd say he's definitely at least in the top 10 to 15 of all time, if you ask me.
It is not acceptable for a team from Boston to win any championship.
Well,
I'm sorry, you guys started that one. You started that one by being Red Sox fans, and then you made it worse by being the Patriots.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bruins haven't had great luck in the finals in the past 20 years. They did win the one in 2011, but the other two times, haven't they lost 6 or 7?
They lost Game 7 a couple times against Flyers and against St. Louis, and I don't know if there was somebody else. But
So
Chicago, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you lost in the final to Chicago with 16 seconds left.
Yeah.
Just to make sure we all remember.
No, yeah, we remember it. Don't worry.
I just want to make sure.
Pretty sure I put 2 holes in my mother's wall.
To Dave Bolin scored the game-winning goal in that series from Marcus Kruger. Like, that's like our 4th line, my friend.
or Jason Arnott.
Hey.
I mean, you went there, so you deserved it.
That Stanley Cup never happened. I don't remember it. For some reason, you looked it up. And
I was literally there. I was there.
No, you were there for Mikey sending it to Game 7. Okay.
I was there. That was a moment. I mean, now that I think about that being blind, I wouldn't even be able to see that. I think I'm sitting very close to I'm actually sitting at that level tonight, but because they were comped from the group event. So hopefully, I told the dude that I have 2 things to talk to him about, because did you guys see where the Stadium Series is rumored to be next year?
Jersey.
It's rumored to be in Jersey.
Nice.
Absolutely.
So that
we shall see.
That's the hope for some blind hockey in between intermission.
That'd be kind of cool.
Awesome.
Well, but that ice is up for like a week, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That ice is up for a week. So
if we could get a game and an intermission play, I mean, obviously high hopes, but that would be.
Are you kidding me? That's where we try to get it alumni. We try to throw goggles on an actual alumni, and then we send Danico after Adam.
No, we send Stevens after Adam.
No, I think I think Danica would be the perfect guy for Adam.
No, that would be. I mean, just any opportunity to get on that ice would be cool. I'm just throwing this out there since that's about a year away. We would have to make some sort of special jersey for that. Just saying.
I'm pretty sure if that happens, you're entitled to make a special jersey, Drew.
Nice. You all heard it here.
You heard it here first, folks.
And if you didn't think he was going to do it anyway, you don't listen to the podcast or know Drew.
I don't know what you're talking about. I always wait for permission. Yeah, I am definitely very interested with how this season's gonna turn out. I think the playoffs are gonna be wild, and I'm not gonna make any predictions because every time I do, they're wrong. So,
Yep.
Hey, I'm pretty good. I said the Devils would be good. Who else did I say would be good? The Stars, right?
was that you or me? One of us did.
Oh no, I took Ottawa. Who?
Oh.
Last year, I made predictions for the first round, like at home on paper with my kids. We all made our own little brackets, and I got every single one right in the first round except that the Bruins lost. That was the only one I got wrong. I'm like, it's the only one I wanted. I only wanted to get that one right, if we want to be honest, yeah. But yeah, I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Who were my? I think my upstart. I don't remember.
No, it was Ottawa.
I think I took Ottawa. Who is my contender? Did I take the Avs?
Maybe. No, I think Corey took the Avs. Corey took Vegas, the Avs, and Buffalo.
Dirk took Tampa, right?
Yeah, and then Boston.
And then Boston because they were his team. And you took the Leafs.
I picked the Leafs, the Stars, and probably the Blackhawks.
Unfortunately, the Blackhawks.
Yeah, I think I even started with that. Unfortunately.
Oh man, that's your trivia question for this episode. I'll send a T-shirt. One of the new T-shirts we make. We'll give you one of the T-shirts if you can do it without going back in. What was my prediction for the contender? I have no idea.
I mean, I think last year for the bracket I had Pittsburgh going pretty far into. I think I had them going to the final. And I don't remember when they lost. Was it the second or third round? They made the playoffs, right? I'm not making this up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Dirk, Danielle and I do that same thing at home where we make a bracket.
Yeah.
Like, the Penguins did not do great this year, but it's Sidney Crosby, Malkin. Like that team just has a way to make it happen. And
yeah, but dude, look, like this, the generations are changing. Like, and really, look at it. Like this big generation is gone. Sid Crosby, Malkin, Ovi, again, like that group, the Boston group. Like times are changing. Days, like this is a new generation is ready to take over. Like Jason Robertson's massive body. Watching him at that golf event, he's so gangly awkward, and you're just like, I understand why your shot is so good.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Trade deadline's coming up, so I'm sure next episode we'll have some more crazy trades to talk about. But let's talk about this one. We were lucky enough to have Emma Papariella on. She's from the Pittsburgh area. We've skated over the Showdown, Disabled Fest. Just a great all-around person, and it was a really nice time getting to know a little bit more about her and the very worthwhile things that she's training to do. It's in Envision Blind Sports is where she's working in the summers, right? Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
So,
she was great to have on. I thought she had a really good story. She's got a love of personality. She's always in a good mood. So
yeah,
it's always good to see. It's always good to see her at the events and to have a chance to talk with her. So I think everybody will enjoy her story.
It's kind of like what we said, and we know about Timmy. Like Timmy is in college for the right thing to grow our community. Like Emma, that's what she is doing. She is the right type of person to be in our community and grow our community and do it right. And the same thing with Timmy. Timmy is taking a different approach with sports management, but we're growing kids from our community, and they're training to help take their skills back to our community, and I think it's awesome. I mean, I've learned so much from her about different blind sports also. And I have to get snowboarding again. with just a guide, because that's all it takes is just someone snowboarding in front of me, so I don't do what I did on Sunday and bounce off Drew like a squeak toy.
Come to Colorado, bud. I'll help you out.
Yeah, I think the big thing with Emma was taking away that she is working to help the blind ice hockey community, but it's such a larger breadth of sports and communities that she's going to be able to touch. And it was just really awesome to have this conversation with her. Like I said, we got to know a little bit more about her, and I hope that you all enjoy this one as well.
Emma Papariella from the Pittsburgh area. I'm not sure. Where are you going to school now? I forget where exactly you're at right now.
I am a sophomore at Slippery Rock University of Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's so cool. My sister, I forgot that. I remember hearing that because my older sister, Jamesy, went to that school for a year for equine sciences, I believe.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we have a big horse barn here, so that doesn't surprise me.
Yep. So, well, that's cool. What are you studying out there?
So I actually just recently changed my major. So now I'm studying special education transition programming with minors in adapted physical activity and recreational therapy.
Wow, I don't think I can spell that.
I can't either. It's okay.
I know it's like I asked Doug one time what he did for a living, and he went on for like 3 minutes, and I only stood like words like the, and of, and I'm like, oh.
That's how I feel every day in class. It's okay.
I'm like, okay. But yeah, so I guess I should backtrack. First thing I should start with is what is your vision condition? Like, what's your level of vision?
So this is an interesting question, actually. So I don't have like a typical diagnosis like retinitis pigmentosa or like acropotomy or something like that. I have a very unique situation. I was born in China, and I was born with cataracts. And China didn't like remove my cataracts till I was 3.5 years old. So my optic nerve didn't get a chance to develop because I wasn't receiving light properly like I'm supposed to. So I have a very underdeveloped optic nerve, and then I just have some like other issues like I have strabismus, nystagmus, the typical stuff like that. And I have no depth perception. That's like my biggest issue in life. So the world looks flat. I'm aware that it's not flat, but to me, it kind of looks like it's flat all the time.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like when you're walking in a store with like it's got like all white floor, and then they have like a pattern, some type of weird pattern in the middle, like at a mall, and it looks like something physically standing in your way, and it's just something flat on the floor. I
definitely like do the whole like foot tap thing to make sure I'm not gonna like jump.
Yeah, or I'll jerk my face back thinking I'm running into something, and it's just something on the floor. It's not even at my face. But
I've done that so many times. Or like I'll run into something and apologize to it, and it's definitely not living. I'm just like, that's awkward.
I'm sorry, Curb.
Yeah.
Sorry you broke my big toe. Hopefully you're okay.
Pretty much.
So you don't have an actual. So, but is your condition stable then? Does that mean that it's not getting any worse, not getting any better? Just kind of.
Yeah, no. So it is stable. I've had a total of 3 eye surgeries in my life. I had one in China when they removed the cataracts, and then I had one when I first got adopted to kind of fix the damage that China did because they didn't do it properly. Shocker.
Sure.
And then I had another one done to kind of help tighten my muscles in my eyes a little bit. And I don't know, I forget what the other one was. Yeah, I don't know, something like that. So.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I got like one eye that the muscles in it, I gotta work on them myself because I'm always closing it and I don't even realize I'm doing it. So like it's just become a lazy eye and I gotta get it back to looking straight ahead. So.
Right. It's kind of interesting actually because my eye doctor had thought that he was gonna have to do another surgery when I got a little bit older because my eyes just weren't quite focusing as well as they wanted it to. But then my parents got me like a DSi XL for Christmas. I thought it was the coolest kid ever because my sister had like a DS and I wanted one, but I couldn't see her, so they got me the bigger version. I was like, yeah, I'm such a cool kid, and it actually helped strengthen my eye muscles since I had to like focus on like a smaller screen and stuff. So. I don't know. I credit that to some of my vision, but it hasn't like gotten better since then, really. So or worse.
I mean, at least it's not progressive. It's not something that's just going to get worse over time. I mean, I guess everyone's vision slowly gets worse, but
Right.
But it's not like you don't have a progression. So I guess that's a good thing anyway.
Yeah, no, definitely. Very grateful for the division that I do have for sure.
Yeah. And so, did you grow up playing hockey? I didn't know your hockey background. Did you grow up playing hockey, or did you find out about blind hockey and that's how you got into it?
No, so actually, I've only been playing hockey since like beginning of freshman year of high school. I'm a sophomore in college now, so like 7-ish years or so, on and off.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. Like I found out about hockey my 8th grade year, but I was like, that seems terrifying. I don't think I can do that. But then my friends convinced me to try it, and I was horrible at first, but I've gotten guess a little bit better since, and here I am now.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't have guessed that. Because I thought you had grown up playing it for some reason. Because you always seem to be able to, at least ever since I knew you, were able to at least, hold your own out there.
Yeah, I have lots of nephews who like to wrestle and stuff like that, so I guess I've just learned to stand up for myself.
And how did you find out about blind hockey?
So actually, I go to a summer camp for visually impaired children. We serve about 5 to 18-year-olds, so like that big school age range, and they were like, we're gonna try blind hockey, and I was like, oh, like deck hockey, and they're like, no, ice, and I was like, blades, blind people, yeah, that sounds great. So we tried it at camp, and we did like learn to skate in the beginning, like in the morning, and then they chose like 12 people to like kind of try to attempt a mini game. It was very new to all of us, and so I got chosen for that. Still didn't think in my mind that I was good enough for it, so that's why I didn't join the team right away. Kind of regretting that because they got some really cool opportunities the first year, but that's okay. And so yeah, that's how I originally came up knowing about it, and then I did some research, and I was like, this is really cool. And I think Pittsburgh was like the 4th city in the country to develop a team, 4th or 5th. I think we were pretty early on, if I remember.
Yeah, no, you were definitely in the first 5. Chicago, I don't know what Brailers in New York. I don't remember the order now, but you were definitely one of you were there before the main Blind Bears were, and a lot of things right now. So
yeah.
Well, that's great. So, and out of all the 7 years, I guess my last question will be: out of all the 7 years that you've been playing blind hockey, what's been like some of your favorite like moments, either on or off ice, with something either at a tournament or on or on the ice at a tournament or off ice? Like what's some of your favorite memories?
Oh gosh, this is a really good question. Well, I don't know if this really counts as a memory or not, but one thing that I love about blind hockey is just the community, and how like I have so many friends from like across the country and some out of the country, and so I always love just being able to hang out with them on and off the ice at different tournaments and just getting to reconnect and build relationships. Trying to think of one that stands out though. Okay. Minnesota. What was it?
2019?
No. I'm trying to maybe 2019. I can't remember what year it was now.
Is that when we played at the Wild practice facility?
We played at the place that had the sunlight coming in through the
that off.
Oh my god, that was a nightmare.
Yeah, I don't know who designed that. Not a great idea.
No.
But I remember I was in the I was registered for the blue division, and then Grant was like, no, you're getting moved up to the white. And I was like, oh gosh, like I'm scared. And my parents weren't with me. They had sent me with somebody else who was in charge of the blind hockey at that time. And so I remember texting my mom and dad, and I was like, I'm moving up to the white, pray for me and stuff. And so we played the whole weekend, and it was really fun. But I remember the last game, we had lost a lot of people because everyone had to fly home and stuff like that.
Yes.
So we put a box in for the goal.
Oh yeah.
And I remember us calling the box the MVP and stuff. So that was absolutely hilarious.
It had some epic saves if I remember correctly, because people were talking about it. I'm like, he was a pretty solid goaltender.
And the boss didn't injure his knee.
No. It doesn't even have to go on the butterfly. Yeah.
That box got to be lazy.
That's funny. Awesome.
But also just that whole trip stood out. Really loved the going to Mall of America, and then the state fair was huge. I was never been to a fair like that before. And then I also went to Toronto the spring before that trip, and that was also a fun one. Got to meet lots of cool Canadians, which is always fun. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of awesome Canadian players and fans out there to hang out with.
oh yeah, for sure.
Well, that's great. I could sit and chat with you all day, but I got to be fair. I'm going to pass the puck on. I think it's Drew taking second period, so I'm going to pass the puck on to Drew. But thank you so much for your time, Drew. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Dirk, you just went through like everything that Josh and I were going to say.
What? I did?
But we're good. We're professionals here. We're good.
I'm so sorry. We went all over the place, I guess, but I left you some.
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
You know, he's so psyched about condensing his whole life story into 15 minutes. He's trying to condense everything into like 30 seconds now.
It's like fast food Dirk, you know? Everything's just got to go, I don't know, in and out.
So, Emma, as a side note to your story, 2019 was my first event as well. And I remember getting dressed because I was in red and we were playing after you guys. Mm-hmm. And Kevin Shanley came into the locker room and someone looked up and was like, "Oh, hey, how'd the game go?" He's like, "Well, I got beat by a box." And I was like, that was my first. I was like, okay, I think I'm going to do fine here.
No, oh my gosh, I love that. That's so funny. That box was like.
So you got pushed kind of, I don't want to say pushed, but you were put into white when you thought you'd be at blue. How was that adjustment for you in speed? I don't, blue tends to be like the learn to skate folks. So, they're not moving super quick, but the white division, they can get moving. Was it a big change for you, or do you think you adjusted pretty well?
I think I have a tendency to like really get in my head in certain things. So like I'm better if you just throw me in the situation. Like the more time I have to like think about it, or if you like ask me, I'll probably say no. So I think I definitely like Grant told me like in the evening after we had done that practice, skate on like Thursday night, I think. And so Friday morning was the first game. So like Thursday night, all night I was like, oh my gosh, like this is it. I'm gonna die, or I was like, I'm gonna do great and stuff. But after I got onto the ice and like started like playing with everybody, I don't know, it just kind of clicked for me because we had done practices and stuff where we played games like scrimmages at the end of each practice and stuff, but like we've always tended to have like a smaller team and stuff, so we always did like half ice games, and so I think I was like definitely more scared in my head, but then once I like got out there and started playing with everybody, and everybody's like so nice out there. Well, the people on your team, the people on the other teams, we get mean towards each other, but I don't know. It was fine. Like once I got onto the ice, I was like, okay, this isn't that bad. Like I can beat up some guys. It's fine.
That's a good way to go into it.
Yeah, because I mean, like there's very few girls out there, but we've been having a lot more girls coming out to hockey events and stuff like that. So that's making me very, very happy because I can't defend us forever.
Well, I think between you and Sietska, you got it covered for the time being.
Oh, for sure, definitely.
So what position do you play?
So I started off as defense, and then I slowly got transitioned into like playing forward a little bit more. So I go back and forth between defense and forward, just really wherever they need me on the ice. I can do both. I don't know. I like definitely have favorites for both and least favorites for both. Okay. But I don't know. I like forward because you have a better chance of shooting and scoring, so that's always fun. But yeah, I don't know. It's just wherever they need me for that specific game or at that time. I try to be as flexible as I can.
Okay. Well, let's say you get the opportunity to pick your position. Where are you going to play?
I'd probably choose forward. Just because, like I said, you get a better chance to like score. And then I don't know. I just feel like I don't want to say like you're more involved when you're a forward, but I don't know. There's more like opportunities to steal pucks and stuff. Just I don't know. But if I'm like going against like you guys, like you three, God, defense, please. So I think
we're all slow, so you'll be fine. Yeah, I mean, I think that there are definite. It's a different kind of in the game when you're playing defense as opposed to forward.
Right.
So I guess for me, it's kind of like, well, what are you feeling that day? Because they both definitely have their perks, but some days you're just like, I'd rather be on defense and have you come to me instead of having to go to you.
Right. No, I definitely like some days, like once you get towards the end of the tournament and you're tired and you're like hungry. I don't know. I always get hungry when I play hockey and I'm just like, just let me play defense. Let me finish out with defense because I don't have it in me anymore.
So do you watch hockey or are you solely a player?
I do. So actually, my dad and I, he's the one who got me into hockey. So we used to go to lots of Penguin games together, and then we'd watch it at home and stuff. So I've grown up watching hockey, and I always wanted to play hockey, but it was just like never a thing for me because like safety wise, I just didn't think it was a good idea, and I also didn't think I could ice skate either because I went like ice skating twice with like my neighbor, and it wasn't great. So. Definitely don't get to watch it as much anymore just with being in school. I don't really have cable and I don't have time to watch games. But I've actually ended up going to a lot of Penguin games this semester in this hockey season, which is nice. So I've gotten my friends into it too. I'm like, guys, you're coming to the Penguin game with me because I need a ride and you'll have a fun time and I'll pay for you and just enjoy it. And then they're like, this is so cool. And I'm like, you think this is cool? Come watch some blind hockey. And my one friend actually came up to the Pittsburgh tournament last spring and she was like, oh my God, like this is insane. And I was like, yep.
That's awesome. And man, what a team to like grow up with too. The Penguins have been good for feels like forever.
Yeah, no, definitely. Although they're making me a little upset, but they did win the last game, so it's okay.
So who's your favorite player?
Oh gosh, this is a hard question. Right now, Jake Gensel is definitely my favorite player. I call him my hubby. He actually scored last night, empty netter. I was so happy. And then Sidney Crosby, definitely close to my heart. And I don't know, Chris Letang. So my dad didn't like Chris Letang, which kind of led me to not like Chris Letang. But you know, at the same time, like as I see him play, he like has his he definitely has his moments where it's like really frustrating because he's not always in his position. And I'm just like, dude, you've been playing hockey for like how long now? Like I just, I don't know. But then I think about me and I don't always stay in my position either during the games because sometimes when it's like high rush, you just got to go for it. So I think I'm starting to definitely warm up to him more now.
All right. I mean, I give Chris Letang a lot of props. That guy has had, 2 strokes or something like that?
That's also the thing. Yeah, he's gone through a lot. Like he just had a stroke. His dad died like 2 weeks afterwards. And I was like, okay, like he has a lot going on and he's still coming out and kicking butt. So I was like, I'll give him a chance.
Yeah. And I mean, parents dislike of a player will definitely go a long way. My mother does not allow anything Patrick Kane in her house.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
so sometimes like, okay, he was kind of a jerk when he was a younger player, but now he's older and wiser and better. And she's like, I don't care. You can't have it in this house. So
stick with what you know.
yeah, right. So is hockey your sport? Do you play other sports?
Hockey is definitely my favorite sport. I'm also I love skiing. So right now, I've been doing a lot of skiing. And I like water sports, even though I'm not a very good swimmer. But I like water sports like kayaking and paddleboarding, where I'm wearing a life jacket, so it's not as scary. But definitely hockey, then skiing, then like kayaking, or like my top 3 for sure.
Okay, that's really cool. Do you? So you were working with it's Envision, right? Is that
yes.
So do you get the opportunity to do like paddleboarding and kayaking with them? Yeah,
so they're actually they're the ones who have introduced me to almost all of the all the blind sports. So growing up, a little backstory. Growing up, I wanted to be an active kid, but my mom and dad were always hesitant to put me into sports because, again, safety and will she actually be able to participate and learn out of them. So I did gymnastics for a while because you don't need too much vision for that. And that was like not necessarily like a team sport. Like I just did classes and stuff. But then once you get to middle school and all the people that you're doing gymnastics with are like 10 years younger than you and you haven't improved, you're just kind of like, well, this sucks. So I stopped doing gymnastics because I was just like, I'm not improving and it's just not fun anymore at this point. And I had gone to Envision when I was 9 for the first time back in 2011. And I liked it, but I was pretty young and I was my first time away from home. And so it was an okay experience. And then they didn't have it the next year in 2012. So it just kind of got off our radar for a while. And then 2015 hit and my mom's like, hey, like, do you want to try this again and stuff? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Because she was also hoping that it would help me because I was believe it or not, at one point in my life, I was a very antisocial person and very quiet person. And now all my friends tell me to shut up. And my mom and dad were like, we really want you to like get out there and like do something. Like I just never really had like a lot of friends like growing up. So I went to Envision's camp. It was called VIP Sports Camp at that point. And I learned about goalball and beat baseball, and we went kayaking. I don't think paddleboarding was quite added yet. That's one of our newer sports. And I absolutely fell in love with all the sports and all the people. And it was like, wow, like these people that I'm around are like just like me, and they're like experiencing the same things that I'm going through in school and like on an everyday basis. So I absolutely give all of my credit to like accepting my vision and, you know, learning about adapted sports to Envision, because if it wasn't for them, like I'd probably still be a very quiet, timid kid who didn't accept her vision loss and be miserable with my life. So they have taught me a bunch of sports, and we've done crazy ones. Like this past summer, they went sailing for the first time, and this summer they are adding oh my gosh, what's circus. We're gonna try some circus things because one of our counselors used to work in the circus, and he's like, I want to teach them how to, I don't know, walk on. I don't think we're gonna walk on stilts. I don't really know what they're entailing for circus, but I'm excited to find out. So,
Man, I just pictured blind trapeze. And that just seems like a terrible idea.
I know a girl who does trapeze. She's got ushers. She's down in Miami. It's nuts. And like to the point where she's just like, I just time it. She's also like that kind of athletic that like she was a gymnast, so she's able to do something like that. But like she's legit. It's crazy. And I'm like, yeah, you're crazy. I was like, I just swing and then fly through midair and land in the net just for the fun of it.
Yeah, no, don't think I could do that. That seems a little much, but who knows?
Yeah, no, I am definitely not that kind of athletic. I did gymnastics for probably a couple months when I was young, very young, and I remember the moment that I gave up because there was a kid that was like 6 or 7 years older than us that was doing a handstand when we were all doing headstands, and it's like you're doing a competition to see who can stay up the longest. And right. the kid stayed up there for like what felt like 3 hours, and I was done in like 30 seconds. And I was like, this is not for me. I am not that guy.
Right. Well, that's how I felt. Like literally, after all the little kids kept improving and I wasn't improving, I was like, maybe this wasn't the right choice. Maybe this isn't my sport.
Well, thank you for taking the time and coming on. I'm going to shoot this over to Josh, and he's going to take us home. But it was awesome getting to talk to you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in St. Louis.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Hey, Emma. How you doing?
Hey, Josh. I'm good. How are you?
Good. So it's funny because I think I've told you this too. My brother went to Slippery Rock too.
Right.
And my brother is that guy that goes back every year for alumni weekend.
He's
that
really?
guy.
I have to meet him one day,
yeah,
for sure.
Oh yeah, he's that guy that will probably goes back to his frat house, because he's that guy. He was also in college in the 80s, like that movie. But so I know you've been involved in Envision. I know we actually talked a while ago. That might even be 2 years ago. We talked about doing that. Actually, it was 2 years ago. We talked about doing that, possibly starting that camp.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
That was a long time ago with Foreseeable Future.
Wasn't it Melissa, you and me?
It was me. Yeah. So the Foreseeable Future was interested in doing an adventure camp. And I was like, all right. And I was like, if we get the three of us together, we could do something like this. But that just never came to fruition.
No.
So my question is, and I know I kind of know the reason, but I want you to kind of explain because I know you switched your major, and I know it has a lot to do. What are your plans for the future? Why did you switch your major? And what were your motivations behind it, and kind of how do you see your future going with that?
Oh goodness. All right. This could take a second. So,
Well, I mean, it was kind of the transition of where we just were. So you can go with however you want, but I think that's kind of the way we were going anyway.
Yeah, no, you're totally good. So, I was gonna say, I think I talked to you actually in Fort Wayne about it a little bit. I know I talked to a couple people about it so I originally started out in college as a recreational therapy major with an adaptive physical activity minor because I am very passionate about adaptive sports and want to get it out there in the community because like I said, if it wasn't for Envision being close to my house and close to me, I would have never known about all of these sports offered for blind people. So that's kind of what I envisioned for myself was if I'm a rec therapist, I can work in a facility and reach to all these people and get adapted sports out there and stuff. And then I realized rec therapy is hard. And I also couldn't see myself being a rec therapist. I love rec therapy and that's why I have a minor in it. And I love the stuff that they teach about and stuff. But I couldn't see myself spending all the money for all the certifications for something that I didn't truly want to do. So then I was at a point of, well, I don't know what I want to do. And honestly, what I want to do changes every day. So I have 4 plans now. But the reason I switched to special education transition was because at the time that I switched my major, I was helping some of my friends in the blind community with some life problems. I don't want to say life problems, but it was just some stuff happening in life. And they were like, we want to be like you and this and that. And I was like, oh, my life isn't as glorious as it looks. But but I really love just being able to help them and being there for them. And I understood where they were coming from on a different level than when they talked to their parents about it because I understood the whole vision aspect of things. Because I don't think people realize sometimes how much vision can affect our daily lives. And I'm not saying that in a negative way, oh, blind people have sympathy for them. That's the word. I hate when people are oh, I'm so sorry you have visual problems. And I'm do not be sorry for me. I am just like you. Shut up. Anyways, I could go on a whole rant about that. But so I was I want to become a counselor for people with disabilities, probably specializing in visual impairments, but just disabilities in general. But I wanted to work in the school systems and get to kids at a younger age and kind of become a school counselor and work with them and their parents on disability awareness, work on self-advocacy skills. So that way these kids grew up knowing they had a disability, what their disability meant for them, what was possible, get them connected to resources and stuff like that. So that was kind of my vision when I changed. Special education transition was going to get me some knowledge about how special ed works and how school systems work and stuff like that. But now that's still top priority probably. But I've also thrown in some other things with backup plans. So everybody wants me to be a vision teacher that I talk to. Everyone's oh, you'd make an amazing vision teacher. I don't want to be a vision teacher, really. I don't think I do, at least. But I know Braille already, so it'd be a pretty easy grad program for me. So that's definitely an option. And then child life specialist in hospitals because it's similar to recreational therapy. And so that's an option. And then the other day I was reading one of my textbooks for my APA class and I was wow, adapted PE, that sounds amazing. So now that's kind of thrown into the mix of things. So my boyfriend says it changes every week.
But honestly, the other way, that's the typical job. You should be a vision teacher. But I am telling you, from teaching special ed for so long, there's such a need for good transition counselors. I just don't and if you're smart and you're in the kind of age group that you could reinvent yourself, there's probably a large community online where you could probably make a solid living off something like that because you've been through it. And not just with vision, because everybody with disabilities, I mean, you've applied to college as a person with disabilities. You went to college as a person with disabilities, and you're now thriving at college as a person with disabilities. So yeah, and that's awesome. It's funny because I was actually, you said adaptive PE, and I was offered an adaptive PE job last week.
Oh,
And I
funny,
was
that's
like,
awesome.
no, yeah. I was like, no, I am not going back in the classroom. And the guy this was the New York City Braille Challenge. So they were just at a table. And the guy was in charge. He was, in charge of part of special ed for New York City public schools. And he goes, you should do adaptive PE. And I was like, I'm not going back in the classroom. Sorry. And he goes,
No,
it's not a classroom. I go, oh, you know exactly what I mean. But yeah, no, and that's another one that's so needed. Like good adaptive PE teachers.
Right.
You hear so many crazy stories when you're like, it's so simple to have solved this problem, but you couldn't be bothered to think about it. Yeah.
Well, I just think of like when I think of like the people's like ignorance of like just the simplicity it can take to like adapt a sport. So one of our somebody reached out to Envision and said, hey, my daughter is on a swim team in school. Like she's 8 years old. She's like, on a competition team, which is fantastic. But she's like, the coach is afraid that she's going to hit her head against the wall when she's like doing the flip and stuff because she can't see the wall that well underwater. And do you have any suggestions? And we were like, yeah, just, use like a tapper and stuff. And she's like, well, the coach is afraid that like in the Paralympics, that's not allowed and stuff like that. And we were just like, well, first of all, it's great that the coach knows what the Paralympics are because some people don't know what that is. But second, that is literally what they use in the Paralympics. And so then the mom sent over like a photo of the girl carrying her pull tapper with her the next day from swim practice because the executive director of Envision got on the phone and is like, let me talk to the coach and stuff. And I think the mom actually got to figured it out first and stuff before she had to make that phone call and stuff. But it was just like, it's simple things like that like people don't realize that it can be made so easily. And I just like, I don't know. I always like just try to say that educate and advocate as much as possible and stuff. So like, if I can just like get out there in the schools and be like, guys, this is such a simple fix. Like you don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure some of this stuff out.
No, absolutely. And it's so needed. I just wish I knew how to get kind of into schools like that because these things are needed and the way you present it is good because you've been through it and you kind of went into the Envision thing not expecting to be able to do anything and learned so much.
Right.
How do you feel like this could benefit the blind? How do you feel like what you want to do could benefit, I don't know, the blind community, the blind hockey community? What are your goals with that?
I guess my goals is to work with, especially like, I guess the younger population to, again, just get the awareness out there. Of all the like the sports that are offered, all of the services that can be offered for individuals with vision impairments and stuff. And I could expand again for other disabilities because I have lots of experience working with other disabilities, but specifically for the blind community, just having that outlet for them to be able to come and play sports and like learn about different adaptations they can make to just their even daily lives. Like one of my friends didn't know what like a liquid level indicator was and stuff. And I was like, yeah, our dining hall has liquid level indicators now. And he's like, what is that? And I was like, what do you mean? What is that? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, oh, I was like, it's this like device you put on the top of your cup and then like, you fill it. And when it gets to the top, it makes a noise so you don't spill drinks everywhere. And he's like, oh, that's so creative. And I was like, who would have known? Right. And so it's just like simple things like that. So I just like, I kind of want to be like an educator, but also someone that people can come talk to if they're having issues or like having difficulties in life. Since I've lived it, I've lived through elementary school and the whole high school and middle school and those are rough, and having a disability makes it a little bit harder and stuff like that. And then, if they want to go to college, like here's your do's and don'ts when you're applying to college and when you're talking to like disability service offices and stuff like that. And what are your rights as someone with a visual impairment and stuff like that. So I guess like in a way I need to create my own job of just like I want to do it all, and I know that I can't do it all, and that's something that like I struggle with because like I'm a control freak. I was talking to my roommate about this actually earlier today. Like I'm such a control freak. But ideally, I don't know. I just like there's just so much that I want to share with the world, whether it be in the blind community or just even outsiders of the blind community. And so like people are like, you should create a YouTube channel, like or like a TikTok. And so I've definitely considered like doing something like that. My mom's like, you have a really interesting story to tell. And I was like, I don't know if that's interesting in a good way or not. So I don't know, just like counselor, teacher, all in one, you know. I know I don't want to be in like a traditional classroom. Like if I ever was a teacher, it would be an adaptive physical education teacher because I just could not teach in the classroom for 8 hours. Like everybody, when I was switching my major, like, oh, you should do special education. Like you should be a teacher. And I go, I don't want to be a teacher. No way in heck am I doing that. Like absolutely not. Because I think I would just get bored out of my mind. And
oh no, you would never be bored in a special ed classroom. But I am the first one to endorse running away from teaching. It is like every year there's less respect, there's things being pulled, and I'm being paid. I've been paid the same amount my entire career, and never. My pay scale has been ridiculous. So no, but and it's funny. I mean, my sister is now almost 40, but she was one of the first BCBAs in New Jersey, so board certified behavioral analysis, to work with kids with autism. She was her struggle, and a lot of what she had to do was getting her therapy onto IEPs first, and then getting her company approved by insurances, because those are the two things you need. You need if you can get vision transition therapy or a transition counseling. And I mean, transition counseling is needed by so many kids in so many districts. I just don't like getting that as something that can be put on kids' IEPs is a gold mine if you could do it. But just getting into districts and giving the parents the option, because every kid needs a transition plan. And a lot of these special ed teachers and districts don't really get it when you have like specific, like, we're blind. There are not very many. A school district may have one ever. I've never had a blind student. I probably have had in the 2,000 range of kids, and I've never had a blind student. I mean, I've had many kids with many disabilities, but never a blind kid. And it's just, like, we're different. We really are. So I think, but you're also the right kind of person to be doing something new. And to be able to do something where it is multifaceted, because this is what you've done. And something like adaptive PE, especially if you have something for visually impaired, adaptive PE is going to grow so much more over the next couple of years, because it's going to be forced into IEPs. The parents going to make sure it goes in, because their kids are getting shut out of PE class by dumb jock PE teachers, and we are not cutting that.
I didn't have PE in middle school because they were like, we don't think it's safe, so no PE for you. So from the time I was in 7th and 8th grade, absolutely no PE whatsoever.
I totally believe it. Like, I mean, one of my kids towards the end of my career, he functioned very, very low, and part of his disability was a muscular condition, a musculoskeletal condition. So, like, they would do whatever they could to get him into PE, and that's all. It was cool, because it was like a failing grade. They would design games around him. He would play part of it, and then they would be they would work out an adaptive PE time. Like, it needs to happen, because this is the uphill battle we're in, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're blind. You can't play hockey.
And it's
And
like,
we're even hearing that in the blind community and from some of our doctors.
right,
So,
right.
I mean,
Well, and that's something that we talk about a lot in like my APA classes is that also like if like in the disability community, like the rate of obesity and just not being physically active is like so alarmingly high. And but it's not high enough for these school districts still apparently to not realize how important it is to get every single kid moving. Like no matter like even if they're like have like severe like spastic cerebral palsy or something like that, like these kids still need to be moving in some sort of way. And I mean, like we show school district statistics and they still don't like, I don't know what doesn't click in their heads of how important it truly is for every single kid, no matter what their disability is.
I mean, it's a dollars thing. It's a dollars and a numbers thing with school districts. If they have, if they, and it's sad because that's the way it goes. And like I'm on the other side of the table now. Unfortunately, I sat on that side of the table, biting my tongue while parents did not know what they could ask for.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this is really like the fight. I mean, if you like, you got the stats, and you can prove like, and that's all it is like this kid needs physical education. He is
Right.
entitled, and if he's not participating, it's on the school district, not the kid.
Yeah.
If the kid is not participating, if there's not a plan being written for him specifically, because it's got to be in an IEP. If there is a physical disability or a sensory disability, there's got to be part of an IEP that he's got to be able to do something adaptive. So I really feel like it's going to get bigger and bigger, and especially being in it at this point, and you having the other options, I think that's something that it's definitely going to work out very well. The only issue is you got to do them online, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest issue with us is driving to work.
Right.
If you're an adaptive PE teacher and you can drive, like you got 10 districts and you're golden. But it's a lot different when you're in a situation like this. But yeah, that's
something
awesome.
that I have considered a lot, like with like my job, like choices and stuff, and that's why vision, like that's a big part of like vision teaching is that like I can't drive from like school district to school district to school district and stuff to like meet with all these students and stuff like that, and you can't have a vision teacher online. Like having a virtual vision teacher just that doesn't work. Like that's not how it's taught, you know. So I don't know, it's something that like I don't know, I always say if I had like a complaint box for being like blind, like my one like I don't know, I'm like I don't love being blind, I guess, but I'm like it's what I've known my whole entire life. But I've accepted it and stuff like that. But if I had one complaint that I could put in the complaint box, it would be the fact of just the independence of driving, because no matter what, I'm always relying on somebody, whether it's a friend, a family member, Uber, or something like that, or like public transportation to take me places and stuff like that. And so like it's so frustrating to me, like when I can't like do things because I can't just pick up get in a car and drive myself there. And I'm sure that's something that we can all relate to.
Oh, absolutely. And people's initial response is, well, you got Uber. And I look at them and I was like, so how much does it take you to go 20 minutes? They're like, what do you mean? I was like, how much does it cost? They're like, well, Uber's like, 20 minutes, like $20. I'm like, yeah, I mean, you in your car. They're like, oh, like a gallon of gas. Exactly, dude.
Right.
Like,
right.
that's the massive difference is that, yeah, if you're driving, like, well, we pay. I'm like, yes, you pay you pay insurance and everything else. But still, in order for us to go somewhere, it's not like we have the independence to go at wherever we want. If we need to go somewhere, if I go to play hockey, it costs me $50. It costs me $10. Costs me $10 to play hockey, and then $40 to get there and back. Like, and I mean, and that's really like, and I completely agree with you. And then I think that is kind of, I guess that'd be number one on everybody's gripe list if we start taking polls. I mean, you got the obvious, like, yeah, man, I can't see.
Right.
But like, it's the exhausting all the options, and the fact that I don't know about by you, but our access link is New Jersey disabled bus system Like it's like a 3-hour pickup window, a 3-hour drop off window, and you could get there on the right time, or you could get there on the wrong time.
Yeah,
Just
I've never used Access, but that's what I've heard about it, is that it's just kind of like we'll get you there. Couldn't tell you when, but we'll get you there.
I mean, I haven't either, but being a special ed teacher, I knew. Like I knew before I needed to. Like there was, if I have to, like it might, but it's also like localized. So these are, these are things we're behind the 8 ball. But look, I mean, it's better than 15 years ago when Uber and Lyft didn't exist.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely grateful for like the stuff that like we do have and stuff. That was a lot of stuff, but definitely grateful for like where technology and opportunities for us have like come in the last like 20 years. But I mean, like I still like there's so much more to be done. And I don't think like people outside of the disability community realize that. They're like, oh, well, you guys are set up now. Like there's like Google Maps and there's Ubers and this and that. And I'm like, yeah, but it's still not like we still have so much more to grow and stuff. I'm like, yes, I'm thankful for what has happened, but I still want to see so much change happen in the next like 20 some and plus years.
No, absolutely. I completely agree. And that is one of it's transportation really is the kind of the next step for our community.
No, I definitely agree with that 100%. But back to the whole job thing where we originally started, my other second dream job would be to be able to work for like USA Blind Hockey. I don't know. Do something for them. I think like I absolutely love adapted sports and stuff, and that's something that I toyed with a lot. Dropping the rec therapy major was, like, am I going to have as many opportunities in the adapted sports community now because I am dropping RT? But I just kind of came to a realization that, you know what, if like I'm that passionate about it, I can find something to still be very connected to the community. And like I'm in the community as an athlete and stuff like that. So I was just like, I think this is the right decision to make. And so USA Blind Hockey, if you want to hire me for something, hit me up.
I wonder. It's not like we have a rep here or anything.
Right. Yeah, come on, Drew, get me a job.
Yeah, I mean, Dented Puck needs interns too, but no, I honestly, it's the fact that like we had the same kind of conversation with Timmy. Timmy's kind of looking towards the same thing. And having you and Timmy being groomed as the leaders for tomorrow, it's a great thing for our sport and disabled and blind sports in general.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, Timmy and I've had several conversations about like we're both interested in very like similar things and stuff like that. And so like I think, you know, maybe in the future if him and I work on our project together or like start something up, like look out world, like
yeah, it's like we're grooming Luke and Leia already. See, I told you I was Obi-Wan.
You can't proclaim yourself to be somebody. You can't self-proclaim that you're Obi-Wan.
Oof.
And he's not Yoda either.
The Drew has
spoken. I was. That's like giving yourself a nickname.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh man, Emma, thank you so much for coming by. You're going to be in St. Louis, right?
Yes.
Awesome. We will see you in St. Louis. I'm gonna throw it over to Drew. Close us out.
All right. Well, so Emma, thank you so much for coming by. We really appreciate your time and having you on the show. Are there anyone you want to shout out to? Any place that our listeners can find you?
Yeah, you can definitely come follow my Instagram. It is very long. It is EMMA_PAPARIELLA_126. I post a lot of things about my personal life and about like disability related things and adapted sports and blind hockey on there. So come check me out there. You guys can also message me if you have any questions or want to get involved with anything that I'm involved with. And yeah, just thank you, the three of you, for taking the time to listen to me rant a lot tonight. I apologize. And just give me the opportunity to come share my story and share my perspectives on some things.
Awesome. Yeah, no, we enjoyed having you on, and we like listening to everyone rant and rave because it means you're passionate about it. So again, we appreciate your time, and we'll look forward to seeing you in St. Louis.
Definitely. Thank you again so much.